What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the podcast. Here, I'm your host, Alvin Powell. Folks call me OP, so we're going to stick to that. And I'm here with none other, the man himself. This is probably one of my most favorite people that I know, like on
Yeah,
earth.
it's a pleasure.
No lie. My man, Anthony DeRugi, we call him AD. AD, my brother, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. It's good to see you, and
Yes,
it's a
sir.
blessing to be here on
Yes,
your
sir.
podcast, man.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate you joining me, man. I know you've been pretty busy, to say the
Mm-hmm.
least, on and off the
Yep.
court. But I appreciate you taking a little bit of time out your day and hopping on here with me. So appreciate you for
Yes,
that.
sir.
So
Yeah.
obviously you and I, we know each other personally on a more personal level, and we definitely got to do some more catching up here as time goes on. But I know for you, you've man, some things have been going on. Great things. Great
Yeah.
things. I know here as of recently, um, just went through your process in terms of going from college basketball now to the professional level, playing for the Charlotte Hornets G-League team. Is that right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Man, that's amazing. And congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And wishing nothing but success for you in
Yes,
your
sir.
endeavors and that. But man, I want you to talk about that a little bit in terms of what was that transition like, just to kind of break the ice a little bit. What was the transition like from college to here you are now, maybe a couple months or a couple weeks in, just like as a professional doing basketball all day, every day?
Right,
What's
right.
what's some of the differences that you notice? What's some of the things that you're learning in that?
Man, that's a great question. I would say there's so many differences from the collegiate level to the professional level.
Mhm.
The biggest thing I would say has been a transition is there's so much free time in the professional level, which is seems
Hmm.
kind of ironic because
Yeah.
it's like you would think that, you're always on the road and you're doing this and that, but um there's so much free time because now it's like basketball is a business, it's a job,
Hmm.
and like that's all I have to do. But what are you gonna do with the rest of like the hours in a day that you have, because you might go to practice, work out for, I don't know, maybe in total 3 hours, 4 hours,
Hmm.
get treatment, do that. But then
Yeah.
the rest of the day is pretty much free. It's not like you're going to study hall or gotta go to class, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or do all those other things. So it's like really you could fill your day with, you know, good things, or you could be distracted and pick up,
Hmm.
different things. You know how that goes.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest transition for me. And then also, um, right now I'm just being a sponge and I'm trying to, develop my game as far as just learn how to be a pro and the resources that are available here, in the league and the people that I come in contact with. So I would say that that's been a big transition, and it's good to just be connected with a lot of people
Hmm.
who are in a lot of different spaces
Hmm.
and a lot of places of influence. So yeah.
Man, that's good. That's good there. So, man, you said a lot there. Well, one thing that you said I really picked up on was in terms of how you spend your time outside of, mastering your craft. In this case for you, it's
Mm-hmm.
the game of basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
To kind of take a few steps back, um, for you, what was, I guess, for you, I guess, what were some of the decisions that you made? What were some of the sacrifices that you made just to get to the point of where you're at today as a professional,
Mm-hmm.
in the G League? If you want to talk a little bit about your story,
Mm-hmm.
starting from whatever it is you like to start,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just go ahead and share that with us.
Yeah, no doubt. So I'm the youngest of five siblings.
Mhm.
Grew up in Germantown, Maryland. Most of my family is from the Bronx, New York. That's where I was born, but
Okay. Okay.
was raised in Maryland,
All
and
right.
so single mother. She
Hmm.
raised all five of us. I think one of the things that my mom has really instilled in me and us growing up was to be humble.
Yeah.
Um, coming from a faith-based family, a strong believing family in God, we were taught to be humble and taught to be hardworking and, never really complacent. And I would say, you know, as far as I can remember, when I started playing basketball around 8 years old,
Hmm.
my brother was the one who taught me how to play basketball. But he really, with my whole family and him, really instilled a lot of discipline. And that was, waking up at 6 a.m. to run hills, doing ball handling drills out in the street, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like really, really grinding because he was like, you want to be good at this game, then you have to sacrifice, you have to work hard.
Yeah.
That's what anything, that's what any craft,
Hmm.
So I think you know, growing up I was surrounded by the right people who saw my talent. As far as me seeing my talent when the time came, as I continued to progress and get better, actually seeing like, oh, like I have a gifting in this, and this could help me, to take 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 my life or whatever I was given and make the best of my opportunities that was given to me.
Yeah.
So I would say hard work, discipline, and humility was something that was instilled in me at a young age. I'm thankful for basketball. It's been a vehicle for me.
Mhm.
My brother always taught me to use basketball and don't let basketball use you.
Yeah.
And that's something that I stick by, and it's something I'm continuing to use right now. Like I'm thankful, to have gotten a college degree, to have connected and meet with people, being able to connect with you right now and share my story.
Yeah.
That's part of the whole thing. And then also being able to play at the professional level is something that always dreamed about. So I'm thankful and looking forward to see where um, God has me going from here. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, man, that's amazing, man. It's so for me growing up, so I'm the oldest, right?
yeah,
So
different.
yeah, it's a little different, right? I didn't have no
Hmm.
older, I didn't have any older brothers or older siblings that was
Hmm.
kind of like putting me to the gym. So it was really just
Yeah,
me on my own. Sometimes like my
yeah.
dad, he would like my dad and I we'll go to the gym, we'll do drills and we'll work on things. So
Hmm.
obviously through time I ultimately got better.
Yeah,
But having a little bit of guidance and having someone be just like a beacon of light is huge difference.
big,
And
big man.
no matter what it is you're doing, basketball, sports, business, life, career, doesn't
Hmm.
matter.
Hmm.
It's always good to have somebody in our corner and just helping, just guide us. Say, hey, look, go this way. Be mindful of X, Y,
Hmm.
Z. But
Hmm.
you can go down that way if you want to. But here's the consequences. There's gonna be some consequences with that. But I suggest you should
Right.
go down this way instead. So
Hmm.
man, no, that's huge. That's huge. And another thing you said in terms of using basketball and not
Hmm.
having basketball use you, that's something that I was taught growing up as well. And you and I, we
Hmm.
know a lot of people that their understanding is flipped, where
Hmm.
it's just different. Where it's like, hey, look, ball is life, like
Right.
literally, that's
Right.
that's it. And to a certain extent, I had a professional level. Okay, cool. Right. I get that because that actually
Hmm.
literally provides for you and your family.
Right.
Um, but for the other, you know, 98% of the basketball players that probably are not going to be at the professional level, doesn't matter if
Hmm.
it's overseas, NBA, G League, doesn't matter. It's like, hey, look, you got to understand that, you have to use basketball as a tool and not just let it use you,
Exactly.
basically. And
Exactly.
that's big, man. And I think
Exactly.
it's really important that a lot of athletes, not just basketball players, but athletes in general, that they pick up on that lesson sooner rather than later.
Mm.
Much sooner
Seriously, man.
rather than later.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, man.
Mm.
So let me ask you this.
Mhm.
For for you, I know you've had a little bit of a journey from one university
Yeah.
to the next, um,
Hmm.
collegiately. But what is
Yeah.
some of your what are you I guess what are some of your more favorite memories that you've had just being in college in general?
Hmm.
On the court or off the
Hmm.
court? What's some of your favorite memories, man?
Yeah, I would say on the court, um, just from the like as soon as you asked me that question, I thought of like March Madness.
Hmm.
So yeah, at
Yeah, of
Florida,
course.
being able to play in the March Madness, that was something that was really big, and I always remember. And then having remember that one dunk versus Virginia Tech.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was like, yeah, I'm gonna remember that,
For
forever.
sure.
Yeah, Cancun Challenge,
Hmm.
Louisiana Tech back in 17. That was
17,
2018.
18. Yeah.
Yeah, 17, 18. Winning that championship over there. I think that was my first time out the country.
Yeah.
So, like seeing all the, using basketball like
Hmm.
that provided that opportunity, you know what I mean? Just being in college, like locking myself. I remember my freshman year locking myself out my room like countless times. It was
Yeah.
crazy, you know what I mean? But it's like looking back, it's like, that was the first time I was really away from home.
Hmm.
And going from Maryland to Louisiana is like kind of like a culture shock a little bit,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But like I really like love Louisiana, really.
Hmm.
Looking back at it now, and I feel like it was so pure, and like it was innocent to,
Yeah.
that whole experience just coming in to college, and then I would say off the court, um, I would say getting married, man. Like that changed my life. And
Congratulations to you, man.
yes, thank you. My wife, Lauren,
Hmm.
she's a beautiful woman. She's a sweet woman, inside and out. And um she encourages me, helps me, strengthens me in so many different ways. Like she's just like, yeah, she's my biggest blessing, I would
Yeah.
say. So,
That's
and
amazing.
yeah, so it's like
Hmm.
definitely has strengthened me, and I feel like continues to propel me to maximize, my whole self, and in regards of like just life outside of what we think it might be, like ball or
Hmm.
whatever, like how we grew up,
Right. Right.
thinking. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Man, that's good there.
yeah,
Let me ask you this because I wanna touch back in terms of you being married, but we're gonna touch
yeah,
on that a little bit later. But let me ask
okay.
you this: outside of basketball, what do you enjoy doing
Mhm.
outside outside of the court?
Yep. Outside of the court, I enjoy riding bikes.
Hmm.
I enjoy reading. I enjoy writing. I write like poetry from time to
Okay.
time. Yeah, I enjoy listening to music. I enjoy dancing. I enjoy like a lot of quality time, and I enjoy people. Really, I'm a
Hmm.
people person. I like learning about different cultures, um, ethnicities.
Hmm.
Like I told you before, like I'm kind of curious
Yeah.
type of guy. Just like like where did this come from, or why do people do this or do
Mhm.
that? I would say I'm very like retrospective in a way, or I don't know how to explain, like very like I'm a thinker, very
Yeah.
thoughtful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. Hmm.
Okay. Cool. Let me ask you this for a music question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite genre?
Favorite genre, I would say favorite genre is like a tie. It might be like I like Afrobeats. That's more like
Hmm.
recent though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I kind of like rap and R&B, like a
Okay.
mixture of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
rap. Let's stick to rap.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Top three. What's your top three artists all time? Top three artists
Top
all
three.
time.
You know what? Ah, I don't really have a top three.
Ooh,
Yeah, I don't.
you gotta give me something,
Yeah.
bro. You gotta give me something, bro. Or at least top three
Hey,
as a reason. Who you rocking with right now? Heavy. The top three.
as a recent,
It could be old. It could be new. No matter.
mm, dang, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't listen to mainstream artists,
Okay.
so you
Okay.
probably wouldn't. Yeah, the only mainstream artist I kind of like rock with a little bit is I would listen to some Tupac songs.
Okay.
Like yeah, some Tupac. Hmm. Right now, like on my playlist, bro, I don't really have a lot of like rap music though.
Man,
There's
it's
like a
all
lot of
good.
Afro beats, a lot of
Yeah,
Afro
yeah,
beats.
yeah, yeah. No, that's all good.
Yeah,
It's
a lot
all
of
good. I know
Afro beats.
Afrobeats is great music, and it's been on fire. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
this
right.
last like year or two, it's been on
Yeah.
fire. So Afrobeats
Mm-hmm.
is definitely where it's at. No, I'm
Right,
right there
right.
with you, man.
Facts,
I'm right there with
facts,
you.
facts. Yeah.
So, so let me ask you this, because in terms of the off of like outside the lines,
Mm-hmm.
off the court life, um,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot that just athletes go through in general.
Right.
Highs, lows,
Mm-hmm.
ups and downs, family related, family changes, whatever the
Mm-hmm.
case may be. And
Mm-hmm.
so you had a pretty major family
Yeah.
change
Mm-hmm.
here recently in terms of getting
Mm-hmm.
married. How when did you get married? When did you get married again?
I got married August 6th, 2021. So last
2021.
year.
Oh man, so it's been a, man, it's
Yeah.
been a year. That's quick.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's
Quick.
yeah,
Quick.
that
Yeah.
flew by because I remember seeing you making that public, and it literally felt
Uh-huh.
like a couple months ago. So that's
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy,
Yeah.
man. Salute
Nah,
to
deep.
you, yeah, bro.
Thank
Salute
you.
to you and
Thank you.
yours, man. It's a beautiful thing just watching y'all two just do y'all thing, man. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing to see two people just come
Yeah.
together and just experience life. This journey
Nah,
is not supposed to
seriously.
be it's not supposed to be just a one man show. It's kind of just for us on
Exactly.
our own, but it's supposed to be enjoyed with people that we want to
Hmm.
enjoy their life with. So family members,
Exactly.
wives or spouses, right? So
Exactly.
that's huge.
Exactly.
What's what are some of the things you're learning just in life? It could be marriage later or not, but what are some of the things that you're learning here now that you're a married man?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I would say, man, I would say pride, man. You gotta kill pride
Mm,
in anything. Like, I, I'm learning, so I'm no expert,
right.
but that's something that I see, um, being in a team environment,
Hmm.
and growing up, working with people, me, like I said, like I love people,
Yeah.
and you gotta kill pride, man. Gotta kill pride. Same thing I feel like relates in marriage, I would
Mm,
say. Like, gotta let pride go.
mm,
If two people want to be on one accord, then you have to be humble, you have to serve. And I think you have to always like give yourself.
mm,
And I would say I'm learning that, you know, love is powerful. Love is powerful. We live in a time I feel like where the love has kind of grown cold a little bit
yeah.
in our generation, and we're kind of stray away from it. But
Hmm.
love is a beautiful thing. I would say that,
Yeah.
you know. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm learning, and I'm learning a lot.
Hmm.
But I would say those are powerful ones right there. Those are big
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, man,
Hmm.
that's good right there because I know pride can be the death of many men,
Yeah.
many women.
Yeah.
Not in an actual literal sense, even though it could get to that,
Exactly.
but pride can really mess your whole life up, right? If you
Hmm.
allow it to do so.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, something that I've noticed about you, really from like the first time we ever met, when you ever came on the visit to
Hmm.
Tech, something that I realized that you were just cool, calm, collected, like mild, just chill for the most part.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
obviously we all have like our goofy side, but
Yeah.
so we all have our goofy side.
No.
But
Nah,
I
for
know
sure.
that 82.
Yeah.
I know that 82.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Right. Don't be
but
fooled. Don't be
yeah,
fooled.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's funny. But let me
Oh
ask you
my
this,
goodness.
man, because where does that come from? Because honestly, I mean, I would consider myself cool, calm, and collected. Obviously, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
biased on that, but
Mhm.
I've heard people tell that just to me in general. But for you,
Yeah.
where does that come from? Because I see that as rather, I guess, rare for the most part
Mhm.
in terms of just people, at least our age,
Mhm.
young, mid 20s,
Mhm. Mhm.
early mid 20s, right? So where does that come from, or have you always kind of been that cool, calm, collected person, just even growing up, just as a kid?
Mhm. Yeah, like I would say that comes from, man, I would say my faith, man.
Mm,
Like that's what grounds me. I would say growing up too, like, like how I mentioned earlier, my mom, even my dad, like talking to him,
mhm,
um, as I got a little older, like be humble. And that's something that I've kind of like always heard, you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
And I feel like in a way, it's like there's I know in the Bible, there's a saying like God gives grace to the humble and resists the proud.
mhm,
And I think that is like that's so true. I think when you're humble, like people just gravitate to you,
mhm,
more, or like are probably more inclined to be graceful, you know.
yeah,
Um, and like I think that's just where it kind of like stems from. Like, me as a kid, I would say I was always outgoing, and maybe not as like calm as I am now.
mhm,
You know what I mean? Yeah, like
yeah,
we was talking about. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely very, very goofy. And I've come a long way. Yeah, I've come a
right,
long way. But I would say, yeah, I think um just throughout the years I've been able to mature, and I think some of the events and the realities in my life has kind of, I would say, expedited maybe that growth and maturity, um to just carrying myself and conducting myself in a certain way.
yeah,
So yeah.
that's good, man. That's good.
Mhm.
Like even how we touched on earlier, just having that beacon of light for
Mhm.
either it can be just a group of people or just a person,
Yep.
whomever that may be,
Mhm.
is important. And it sounds like, for you, just kind of growing up, just hearing it from just your family, from your parents, and even just
Mhm.
having that guidance with at least in my eyes, a real beacon of light, God through
Mhm.
the Bible.
Mhm.
It's hey son, hey look, stay even kill, stay
Mhm.
humble, right?
Mhm.
Don't get too high on the highs, don't get too low on the lows, right? But even in the midst of your successes, when you're doing great things, just continue to not get too prideful, right?
Mhm.
And just stay humble. It's really big, and I think you're 100% correct. A lot of people they gravitate towards that, um,
Mhm.
just in general, because I think
Right.
it's just a good thing for people to do, and I think most people should exercise it more.
Yeah.
But that's my take. So
Yeah.
no, that's good, man.
Seriously.
That's good. Cool. So I appreciate you for sharing that, man. Like, as I stated, it is important for us to just be grounded, even kill, and just for
Mhm.
us to be humble ultimately at the end of the day. So um there's two things I think, yeah, so you've already touched on these two, just kind of subtly, just kind of like sprinkled it over the course of this episode. But there's two things that you said that one I knew about you, one I really didn't. Not, at least I kind of forgot about it, honestly. Um, One was in terms of like just your faith, in general, in terms of just like how deep down, I guess, how should I really word this? You're really rooted in your faith. I'm gonna say that
Mhm.
your roots go deep, and
Mhm.
I can tell, and I think that's very important for any and everybody, that we should all have something to believe in,
Mhm.
at
Mhm.
the end of the day. And for you and I, we have a similar beliefs, in that regard in terms of faith. But I wanted to ask you,
Mhm.
where did that come from? Is that something that was just for you, was something you just kind of like almost self-taught, seeked out guidance for it, or just kind of growing up, that's what it was like, for you, if you want to touch on
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, I would say it was kind of like a mixture of like all three.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I grew up, a lot of families, I would say at least black families maybe
Mhm.
have grew up in a church of
Yeah.
some sense. And that was my reality growing
Mhm.
up, Catholic,
Okay.
very I would say very like religious.
Mhm.
I would say Catholicism is very
Yeah.
religious,
Mhm.
and I would say there's like a form of like structure or like discipline, you know. And I think that that's what kind of my mom was the first person to really introduce me to God and who God is and stuff like that. And I think throughout the course of my life, I've seen like God's hand in my life, and
Mhm.
when I didn't really know it, looking back at it now, um, and then I would say once I got into college and kind of I would say in a sense was now I was away from family and I was kind of like tempted in a way and led astray by like distractions and
Yeah.
things that I knew like I was raised to kind of stay away from. I kind of like dabbled in those things, and but then throughout that process I knew that this is not what like I want to pursue. This is not like didn't satisfy me, and also this is not like who I am.
Right.
And I think throughout that time, that's when I really transitioned and kind of making my faith my own now, and not just like because somebody told me to like do
Mhm.
this and do that. I was out on my own, and I think that's a decision that we all have to make.
Mhm.
Like what do you want to stand for? If you don't stand for anything, you'll just go with the wind. You know what I mean? So I made that decision. I think being able to actually seek out God, and I was able to be like found in Him, I would say, and that's just been propelling me throughout. And that's not to say that that I'm perfect. Like I still fall short. But I know that that's where my identity lies, and I know like who I am, and I think that just helps me, when I'm in different spaces, and we're talking about this one space, like, basketball, but,
Mhm.
there's many different spaces or whatever I might, do once the ball stops bouncing,
Right.
but this one thing just, like you said, it keeps me grounded, keeps me rooted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
No, man, that's amazing, man. Like I said, I think we all need to have something that we should believe in, and
Hmm.
just as you said, just stand on something, or
Hmm.
ultimately, fall for anything or fall for everything. Right? It's kind of like a
Hmm.
cliche, but it's true in
Hmm.
every sense of the phrase.
Right.
So I appreciate you sharing that with us.
No
So
doubt.
let me ask you this in turn, because you also mentioned one in terms of being deep rooted in your faith, and then
Hmm.
two, also being into poetry.
Yeah.
And that was something that was honestly like new for me.
Hmm.
Where did that interest come about? What piqued your interest into poetry? And
Hmm.
yeah, if you want to just talk about that a little bit more, yeah, just please do, please tell.
Hmm. Yeah. I remember when I was like in elementary school, um, we would actually we would read poetry from Langston Hughes.
Okay,
Yeah, I
shout out
remember.
to him. Yeah.
I think that's the first. That was one of the first like sparks. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh, like I kind of like this. I
Mm-hmm.
just like the way he wrote, and like just the history behind the poetry, and like the meaning and how like powerful it was.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of just sparked something in me, and that's the first time I feel like I could really date back to me, my interest in poetry.
Yeah.
And I always kind of like reading it and like listening.
Mm-hmm.
um but then like once I kind of started getting a little older again, I was like, let me kind of tap into this.
Yeah.
So I just started writing in this, write about a lot of different things, a lot of things that interest me.
Yeah.
And I try to do that, when I have, the time, or maybe something might be on my heart, and I just write, and it just flows, and I
Yeah.
have a lot of poems that I wrote in my notes and stuff like that. But it's something that helps me. Um, I would say it's like therapy almost in a way
Mhm.
for me. Um, so yeah,
Good. That's good. Have you
so
got to the point where that you started? I mean, I know you had like one Instagram post where you may have shared a poem,
mm,
but
mm,
have you ever got to the point where maybe like, I guess, live public speaking? Have you ever gotten to that
mm,
point where is that something that you want to get into, or is it more just like
mm.
as of today, I just want to write? Now, I'll share stuff here and there, but it's more so just like for me. Where are you at with
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Like as of today, I write, and most of it is kind of for my self discovery.
Yeah.
But I've publicly spoken
Mhm.
um with I think two of my poems
Yeah.
actually.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them was at Florida. So,
Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah.
yeah.
That's what's up.
Mhm.
That's what's up,
Yeah.
man. Like, bro, like I said, you are by far one of my most favorite people that I know, and one of the most interesting
Yeah, that's a
people that I
pleasure.
know. One of the most interesting people I know as well, man. It's more it's a lot of sides to you, AD, man.
Yeah.
It's good, bro. It's good, man. We as people, it's we're just multidimensional, and I think
We
it
are,
gives
man.
you more more flavor, more character,
Yeah.
right? More personality
Hmm.
when you just have,
Hmm.
you know, just different dimensions to you, right? Instead of just being just a
Yeah,
one-dimensional, oh, I'm just a basketball player, or I'm just a
exactly.
poetry writer, right? Like there's all these different sides to you and to all of us.
Hmm.
And
Exactly.
I think it's really cool how one just not only this is just how you are, just on camera, off camera. This is you. At
Right,
the end of the day,
right.
just your authentic self. But
Hmm.
you also show that just through your social media as well. You let people know, hey, look,
Hmm.
I, I'm Anthony first,
Right,
and I also play basketball, but I also do all these other things as
right.
well. It's like basketball's kind of it's just. Like I'm just a pro, but that's not really the,
Yeah,
the biggest thing I worry about.
exactly.
no,
Exactly. Yep.
no, but I think that's amazing though. That's amazing. Keep doing your thing,
Thank
brother.
you, man. Thank you,
Um,
brother.
yeah, so let me so I'll ask you this last question.
Hmm.
Um, I'll ask you this last question, or no, I'll take it back. Probably ask you two.
Okay.
So first one being this, man, in this last 2 3 years, COVID and
Hmm.
everything's been crazy, of course, for all of
Hmm.
us to some degree, for whatever it may be.
Hmm.
Within these last 2 3 years, what would you say? What is one of the biggest lessons, or the biggest lesson, that you've
Hmm.
learned in general, on the
Hmm.
court, off the court, just in life?
Hmm.
What's one of the biggest lessons that you've learned in these last 2 3 years or so?
Hmm. Man, I would say things are destined to change.
Mm,
Yeah, everything is temporary, I
mhm,
would say. So you don't get too comfortable or too attached.
mm,
Um, I know we all experienced that throughout the pandemic, and I think that time just really embodies kind of what, I'm talking about right now. But,
yeah.
things change, man. Like even being a pro
Hmm.
and being there, just seeing the business side of things, and like how things can quickly change, how
Hmm.
replaceable things are, you know what I mean? You think you might be, good, or but then something could change, an
Hmm.
injury, God forbid, or like get laid off, or someone else comes, or change of teams, change of locations.
Right.
Yeah, like I've traveled a lot of places this past like 6 months.
Hmm.
Um, and I would say, yeah, that's just the biggest thing that I've learned, man. It's like it's temporary, man. Things are
Yeah.
temporary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
things are temporary.
I agree. I think that's the only thing that's permanent is change, right?
Dang,
Think,
that's deep.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
nah, I
the
never
only
heard
thing
that
that's
before.
permanent. Yeah, the only thing that's permanent is change. Nothing's gonna ever stay
Mm,
the same, pretty much. It's
I gotta write that down.
yeah,
Yeah, I gotta write that down.
yeah, yeah,
Hold
bro.
on.
Yeah,
Got me
man. It's
there.
things are destined to change, bro. You're 100% correct,
Man.
man. A lot of stuff, a lot of things that either we're into, or that we're interested in, or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
A lot of it is, you know, temporary at the end of the day because,
Yeah.
just like you said, it's destined to change, right?
Right.
We may think things are going to be the exact same forever. Obviously,
Mhm.
2020 came around. COVID kind of
Man.
kind of gave us a wake up call. Um,
Right.
for a lot of things in a lot of ways. But
Mhm.
nah, man, what you said is spot on, bro. Spot on.
No doubt, man. No
Yeah.
doubt.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this last question.
Mhm.
Um, and then we'll wrap. Or
Mhm.
I guess I'll put you like this. So if you can go back to 15, 16-year-old AD,
Mhm.
maybe even 13-year-old AD, kind of within that range,
Mhm.
knowing what it is you know now about
Mhm.
basketball, about life, whatever, doesn't matter.
Mhm.
But knowing what it is you know now, you can go back to your younger self and tell yourself one thing. What's that
Mhm.
one thing you would tell yourself?
One thing that I would tell myself, the one thing that I would tell myself, and
Hmm.
this is because like I think there's some things that, being vulnerable, like some things that I'm kind of like unlearning
Hmm.
and uh, being able to discover myself. But I would say you're not what you do.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Think for a lot of men, young men specifically too, um, who might not have that guidance or might not have people, the right people in their corner. I feel like there's like a lot of things to try to like pull at our identity,
Yeah.
and like try to tell us like who we are, or some people may try to tell you who you are, or try to put, a name on you, or like your worth on you. And that's what I would say, man. Like listen, don't listen to that. Like don't listen to the noise. There's like a lot of noise,
Yeah.
in today's generation, this time. And you're not what you do, because like we said, things can change, you
Hmm.
know, um, and things are always changing. So it's like if you're continuing to learn different layers of who you are, and there's a lot of things that you might like that you just might not have been exposed to.
Right.
You know what I mean? You might have new desires, and so I would say, yeah, like 13-year-old me, like, yeah, you're not what you do, and
Hmm.
this basketball, that everyone is, dreaming to, get to the
Get to
highest
league.
level and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's good, you know what I mean, but it's not everything, man.
Hmm.
It's not life, man. Like explore, just explore a lot of things that interest you, and start building and pouring into those skills, and
Hmm.
learning those skills as early as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean
Hmm.
that's good there. I would
Yeah.
I would definitely tell myself the same.
Hmm.
Because I think a lot of us just as young men, just
Hmm.
even obviously grown men, they think,
Yeah.
okay, well, hey, this is what I do, so therefore this is who I am. This is me.
Hmm.
Like I play basketball, so I'm a basketball player.
Right.
To an extent, sure, but
Hmm.
I mean, just as we just got done talking about, hey, like people were multidimensional. At least we should be,
Exactly.
right? It's like, hey,
Exactly.
you are you. You just so happen to play basketball, right?
Hmm.
Um, I know for student athletes, they probably heard this millions of times. It's like, hey,
Right.
you're a student athlete, student first, right? It's
Right.
like you got to realize you're a student before you are the athlete, right? So we kind of hear that all the time. But
Hmm.
we can even take into just our everyday lives. Like you may still be an athlete, but you may be, in your case, you're a husband, you're a son,
Hmm.
you're a brother.
Yeah.
As time goes on, for us, we're looking to maybe one day become fathers, right? So it's
Yep.
like your rank or your title becomes a lot much higher than your profession, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot more important to be a dad or to be a husband than it is to be a
Yeah.
basketball player.
Yeah.
So
Seriously.
that's a man, that's another conversation for another day, man. We'll go deep down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. I know. Big
Yeah.
rabbit hole.
Yeah, we'll go deep down that rabbit hole.
I don't know.
But
You funny, man.
yeah, man, but it's spot on, man. But it's true. It's true,
Yeah.
man. It's I think a lot of us, a lot of
Mm,
young men, we kind of get caught up in that. So now I'll probably tell
yeah.
myself something very similar, you know.
Mm, yeah.
Man,
Mm,
AD, my brother,
pleasure.
it has been an absolute pleasure, man.
Yes. Yes.
We definitely got to talk some more.
Hmm.
Got some things that I'm trying to either put together or do, and
Hmm.
we'll bounce ideas, see if you want to be a part of
Okay.
it or just participate,
Gotcha.
just come in and join. I think it'd be great.
Gotcha.
Um,
For sure. For sure.
but before we go, is there anything
Hmm.
that you want to leave with the party people with? Any last
Hmm.
words? Any final remarks you want to leave?
Yeah, I would just say for everyone who's tuning in and gonna watch, just thankful for this opportunity and hope that you guys take some gems um,
Hmm.
from this podcast and just remain blessed, man. So again, OP, I appreciate you, man. Respect you, 100%. Like always, knew you as a person who was way more than an athlete and a thinker. You know what I mean? And a real good individual. So I
Appreciate
appreciate
that.
you
Yeah.
for bringing me in. A like-minded person.
Hmm.
And I just appreciate you, man. So it's
Yeah,
good
man.
getting my voice out there.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Hmm.
Likewise, brother. I appreciate you, man. And so I know you guys are on the road right now.
Hmm.
What's when's you guys next game? When y'all play again?
Yeah, so we play November 28th and November 29th. It's a back-to-back
Back to back.
versus I believe it's the New York Knicks G-League team.
GT. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And you could catch us on G-League. I believe it's gleague.nba.com.
Okay.
So all the games are free throughout
Okay.
the whole season. So
Cool. Cool.
yeah.
And I'm gonna definitely start tuning in because I
Hmm.
know there's you. There's a lot of other guys
Hmm.
like Amari.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Amari's doing this thing out there.
Uh-huh.
Just several dudes. So I'm like, hey man, I gotta check in with my guys, see what they
Yeah,
up
yeah, yeah.
to. So
For sure, man.
yeah, man.
For
Man,
sure.
listen, brother, AD, this guy here, man, a solid brother,
Yes,
a
sir.
solid dude at the end of the day, man. Like I said, one of the
Yeah.
most interesting people and one of my favorite persons.
Mm,
One of the most favorite person that I know personally.
mm.
Man, I appreciate you for hopping on here, man. And hey, look, wishing nothing but great success, blessings, good luck your way just throughout the rest of the
Yeah.
season. If there's anything I can do to
Thank
help,
you.
just let me know. But
Thank you,
man,
man.
in the meantime, man, take care, be safe, and hope you have a good one, bro.
Yes, sir. God bless you, man.
Yes, sir.